Okay, I'll admit it. I was more nervous for this race than any other race in the past. Maybe it was the 85 pre-registered riders, or maybe it was the fact that I would be racing 66 miles in 90 degrees of heat, or maybe it was all the talk about how difficult the course is. Whatever the reason, I was nervous. Like really nervous. With 83 riders at the start line, and with a number of teams being represented here, the race was off to a really fast start. Each of the teams was looking to get their best guy into an early break, therefore the race started with one attack immediately followed by another. However, with so many fit dudes, these attacks were quickly chased down. The fast start of the race helped calm my nerves because it required me to focus on pedaling and staying in the group. So, while teams were trying to form an early breakaway at the front of the peloton, I just sat in the bulk of the group and sort of hoped that nothing would materialize. From my previous experiences, I didn't expect a successful breakaway to form at all during this race, so I was willing to take my chances and not waste precious energy chasing down riders off the front. According to the local Texans, this was an extremely hilly and challenging course, and I must say, compared to the majority of the Texas landscape, yes, this was a relatively hilly course. However, after riding in the Appalachian Mountains for a few months, like I was doing, the hills in this race hardly deserved a second glance. Nonetheless, the hills caused a number of riders to be shut off the back and allowed me to get better positioning for the descents. For roughly 50 miles, the race was relatively uneventful, and I just continued to sit in the middle of the peloton, conserve my energy, while teams battled for positioning towards the front of the peloton. However, at about 50 miles into the race, I noticed that as a group, we were becoming much less aggressive while climbing up the hills, and at this point I thought to myself, people must be getting tired. And I was feeling pretty strong, so I pushed myself to the front of the group in hope of making something happen. I saw a few guys going off the front in groups of ones and twos, and I thought, hey, something might happen here. Well, the next thing I knew, I was coasting down one of the hills, and I expected, since I wasn't pedaling, that the other riders would use their momentum and begin to pass me, thus catching the various groups of 1 and 2 riders that had gone off the front. However, it was really strange because I noticed that nobody was going around me. Therefore, I started applying some power to the pedals, and when I looked behind me, I noticed that the peloton was actually falling further and further behind. It was at this point that the winning breakaway was formed. Initially, there were 12 of us in the break, but as we powered up a few of the climbs, we reduced our group to 5, but consequently, we also gained a significant chunk of time on the peloton. With about 5 miles left in the race, we had a comfortable 1.5 minute gap. And for the last few miles, it was just easy pedaling because obviously nobody wanted to pull at the front. Unfortunately, for the final sprint, I found myself unable to jump on the attack, thus I finished 5 out of 5 riders in our little breakaway. My sprint definitely needs improvement, and it will be a major focus for me during my training for the upcoming season. Afterwards, my 5th place effort was rewarded with a nice trophy and a very handsome check. Super sweet! Then, they took my picture and I got this great podium shot. The race coordinator actually asked me, "Hey, cowboy, who is your sponsor?" And I was like, "Yo, I'm solo, bro." It was a great way to end the 2016 cycling season.